Great to have you with us. Now, the Municipal Chief Executive of Asokori Mampong Municipality, Alhaji Ali Duseidu, has outlined measures by the Assembly to decongest the Kumasi Academy at the back of the deaths at the school. Mr. Seidu expressed delight about revelation of the cause of the 4 deaths in the school. He spoke to Love FM's Ohiming Terrier.
Noting that it's a temporary setback, but I was very ecstatic because problem defined, disease half resolved. Of course, if we were to be battling with such an issue without finding the actual cause of all these happenings, I think that it wouldn't have given us a good cause to live with. But now that it's been found, we will put martial forces. Make sure that we find antidote to it. Inshallah, God's willing, I hope as we move along, we are putting every forces together. Sure that it doesn't reoccur again. This morning, I spoke to the Director of Health, wanting to know from him, now that the influenza have been found, what do we do? Are they to continue with the antibiotics? He said yes, because you see, the antibiotic had worked. If it hadn't worked, from the one up to date, we didn't hear of any sad news as far as KUMACA is concerned. So it tells you that we still continue. Those who have not taken, they should come and take, because most started on Tuesday. Others couldn't come on Tuesday, but they came on Wednesday. It means that DS will travel to Friday today. Those who came yesterday will go until tomorrow. So we are still calling on all of them to come and take the dose, because I myself have been taking the dose. If I don't take the dose, I wouldn't feel comfortable at all, because they advised us that once I've become so pivotal in the whole movement, I should make sure I take the dose. So I'll take the opportunity to also explain to parents that, look, we are remaining steadfast, we are resolute, we are on course. We will make sure that the right thing is done. Of course, it is unpalatable for your word to go to the school and never return. But as it has happened, let's all come together as a team, let's all come together as a body to find solution to the problem. And what I strongly believe that with our team of health professionals and all that, inshallah, we will get there.
Honorable, the regional minister talk of congestion in the school. What would the Assembly do to support Kumasi Academy with this congestion, especially in their dormitories?
Yeah, there is an uncompleted girls' dormitory going on by it was built by the PTA. Yesterday, I met with the PTA chairman to look at possibilities of finishing the uncompleted dormitory. We are meeting today and tomorrow to find a way. That's number one. Number two, if you see this block, for instance, the one down here, we are also trying to make sure we put in beds and make the place very well to be habitated by the students. These are all measures that we are putting in place. But apart from that one, there is a block here calling Sadler House. Behind the Sadler House, we are also identified one block. We are looking at possibilities of making sure that the whole place is decongested.
Let's stay with this story, and the head of disease surveillance at the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Franklin Esiedu-Bekwin, is calling for a nationwide surveillance in the wake of the detection of the H1N1 at Kumasi Academy. Dr. Esiedu-Bekwin says the virus spreads when you are in close contact with an affected person. He warns of new cases likely to be recorded, given the fact that some of the students left campus during the period.
The good thing is that H1N1, this is not the first time of it in Ghana. 2011, there were a number of outbreaks. I particularly managed an outbreak in a school in Ashanti Akinsa, Bombata. So it doesn't normally kill. Luckily, we also have vaccines. There are also antiviral agents for treatment. So one thing I want to say that we are not going to rely on these extremes. Somebody can get a disease and your normal immunity can help you overcome it. I think the vaccines will be procured from WHO is the lead agency, so there's consultation between the ministry and WHO. So the vaccines, I'm not sure when, but as early as possible, because we are for a start, we are looking at maybe Kumasi Academy and maybe a few of the health facilities. So it's not a large quantity, so that can easily be brought within a matter of days if it's ready. Luckily, there was a meeting that ended yesterday in Accra. It's the global meeting on pandemic influenza in the world. So luckily, most of the experts are in Ghana. So the request is being put to them. I can't for sure say when We're also going to get the antiviral agents when there's a need to treat. So I want to stress, when there's a need to treat, it's not every case that you need to treat. You see, the bad outcomes of H1N1 is when you are at the extremes of life, very young or very old, or when you have an underlying health event, like a health condition, when you have a cardiac problem or a kidney problem, then you are likely to succumb. Other than that, when you have the infection, you can actually survive on it by just taking good care of yourself, drinking good water and good rest. So I think that we are happy that the end results are going to be good. For the past 3 days, we had 6 cases 2 days ago. Yesterday we had 3. So we think that the infection was on the downward.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we will continue to record new cases, right?
Yes, because you see the disease has an incubation period. So people were exposed. So some of them who were exposed will get the disease. So we are expecting that it will be a gradual decline until there's 0 cases.
Doctor, there are suggestions that Kumasi Academy for now should be cordoned off so that people don't troop in. Once that we know is H1N1. As an expert, what will be your take on this?
Oh, you see, one thing is that the virus normally spreads when you are close to somebody. So if you are more than 1 meter apart, the chance of you getting the infection is minimal because the virus resides in the throat of the individual. So as I cough or sneeze or yawn, like you, the way we are close, if I have the disease or I have the virus, I can share it to you. But if you are further away, then there's no need of consent. So let's make sure that we are maintaining a wider distance. Let's also make sure that we have the good etiquette, like a cough etiquette. You know, when you're coughing or sneezing, your mouth and your nose must be covered. Then you are not transporting or transmitting the virus to each other.
So are you extending the surveillance to Asokwemampo municipality or the township, for instance?
Our surveillance system is nationwide now. The idea is that we don't know how far the students went. But what we want to tell people is that when you are there and have a fever, you have a sore throat or a cough, go to the nearest health facility. At that point, you'll be tested. We'll do a throat swab. Samples will be sent to Noguchi, and then if it's H1N1, you'll be treated. So for now, for this event, we are going to kind of send an enhanced alert that everybody must keep watch, looking for the H1N1. So when somebody counts, if a fever, headache, sore throat, or cough, look for it. Immediately, you need to make sure you alert our system. We'll take a sample and then we'll send it to Noguchi so that if the disease are going beyond our borders that we know now, then it will get killed.
Now, meanwhile, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has sent heartfelt sympathies and condolences to the families, teachers, and students of Kumasi Academy Senior High School who have been affected by the H1N1 virus on behalf of the President of the entire citizenry. In a press statement, the Vice President wished those admitted in hospitals speedy recovery. He assured the public of government's resolve to continue to review and strengthen measures to prevent the spread of H1N1 flu across the country to ensure safety in all schools. He also commended the healthcare professionals and education staff who have worked tirelessly to contain the virus and prevent further outbreak, while promising a visit to the school and the bereaved families today, Friday, 8th December 2017. This is Joy News Today. Stay tuned. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Cape Coast High Court has reversed the decision by the University of Cape Coast, which led to the suspension of 22 students for their involvement in a chaos that broke out on campus a couple of months ago. The university was not able to adduce evidence for the involvement of the 22 in the chaos. This led to the rubbishing of their case in court. In this judgment, the trial judge, Justice William Boampong, said failure to provide transcript of the university's disciplinary committee meetings by the counsel for the defendant constituted a breach of natural justice. According to the judge, the posturing by the university meant that the students were not given fair hearing. We've been joined on the phone by Central Regional Correspondent Richard Kojonyako. Richard, what happened in court today?
Well, you know, this case has been in court for some months now, and so today the judgment of the court was read. And according to the judge, the university has not been able to adduce evidence to the effect that these 22 students that were rusticated about a year ago were directly linked to the chaos that cropped up at the university. According to the judge, the university was really fixated on some rigid measures that ordinarily would have been adopted by the court, but they believe that the University of Cape Coast, being an administrative body, could have taken some measures to ensure that these students were dealt with and not the rigid approach they used in rusticating them. And according to the judge, the university failed to give these students a fair hearing, thus breaching the principles of natural justice. And so the decision taken by the court was that every student should be given 10,000 Ghana cedis by the university. And so in total, there are 22. And so in total, the university should cough up 220,000 Ghana cedis. Also, a separate exam in January has to be organized for these students. Some of them were in level 400, majority of them were in level 400. And so the exams would have to be conducted by the university for these affected students. And after that one, a separate graduation ought to be conducted for these students so that they ensure that they also pass through the university smoothly.
So for the students who are continuing students, have any of them lost any of the semesters, any of the years?
If any of the, according to the court, if any of these students has lost any of their courses or were not able to take part in the courses because of the rustication, the university should take steps to remedy the situation. So they would allow the students to take some of these exams. All of them should happen in January, so that the students would be restored to the original position when they had not been rusticated.
I'm sure this must have excited the students.
Yes, the entire Atlantic Hall has been thrown into a state of excitement. The students are really jubilating because they won a case against the university, and they feel that the university decision was very harsh because these 22 students were not directly linked to the chaos. These 22 students were executives of Atlantic Hall, and then the others were also members of the planning committee of the said hall week celebration that turned chaotic.
Right. Now, Richard, were any of these 22 students there?
Yes, they were there in their numbers, and I spoke with them after the incident. They were really excited that at long last justice has been served because, according to them, the University of Cape Coast has been adopting, these stringent postures whenever anything happens. And so it is good that the law court is there for all of them to access. And so going forward, they would advise the students that when anything like that happens and they feel that they have a case, they shouldn't hesitate to go to court.
Thank you very much, Richard Kojonyako. He's our man in the Central Region, bringing us the latest on the rustication of these 22 students. Now, the plights of teachers and pupils at Anthony AME Zion Basic School in the Chifo-Himai, Lower Dintra district of the Central Region has ended. This is thanks to an initiative by the Christian Rural Aid Network. The organization has constructed and furnished a 6-unit classroom block for these teachers and pupils who hitherto were teaching and learning under deplorable conditions that did not encourage students and teachers to attend the school. Richard Kojonyako reports this gesture has boosted the confidence of both teachers and school pupils in the area.
Many schools in rural communities in Ghana are conducted under deplorable conditions. Such conditions often put teachers and school children, especially those in cocoa growing areas, off. They either don't attend the schools, or when they do, they don't attend the schools regularly.
In the year 2013, the school was absorbed into the public sector under the AME Zion Educational Unit. A close look at the school will tell you the difficulties both teachers and pupils are facing in terms of teaching and learning due to the inadequate furniture and non-availability of classrooms. The school has been practicing the multi-grade system of schooling for the past years now. This poses a great threat to the academic standard of the pupils and also make it very difficult in order to avoid 0%. Teachers and pupils have to put in more efforts not to score 0 in the BC. Few months ago, an NGO named Christian Rural Aid Network, CRAN, visited the school and foreseeing the unbearable situation both pupils and teachers go through each day before achieving their aim, they took it upon themselves to help bring the situation under control.
The Anthony School in the Heman Lower Dentra district is one of such schools. The head teacher of the school has been explaining the conditions under which the school found itself before the Christian Rural Aid Network intervened to give them the new 6-unit classroom block, offices with tables and chairs to enable the school pupils feel comfortable in the teaching and learning process. The predominantly cocoa growing community is more than excited by the gesture from the NGO. Doris Agbesinyali is the head of administration at the Christian Rural Aid Network. She explains her outfit's motivation in supporting rural education.
Since 1993, KRAN has been working to promote education and community partnership. These tools form the core of our efforts to promote education. Is funded by Bingo Foundation, Lower Saxony, Germany, and KRAN Friedrichskreis, Germany. That's a KRAN's partner in Germany. The school block here in Anthony epitomizes what we stand for: the self-improvement, community collaboration, and development of the whole person. We are convinced that children who come here to learn will benefit immensely as a result of the time spent in this good environment.
For the community members, it was sheer joy and appreciation as they vowed to protect and maintain the building for the education of their children. Richard Kwejunyako, Joy News, Cape Coast.
Okay, now we will enter the class.
Still watching Joy News today. Let's stay with issues having to do with education. The national executives and members of the National Association of Domestic Business and Matrons have disassociated themselves from the reported cases of pilfering and theft of food items in some schools by certain individuals. They say they are committed to ensuring a smooth running of the free SHS program. This comes on the back of an alleged theft of the school's food supplies by its matron at the Ghana Senior High School. President of the group, Margaret Asamoah, expressed her outfit's willingness to assist all investigations into the unfortunate development so as to bring sanity into the system.
NADBAM is getting increasingly worried over the incessant reports of some members of our association involved in such a despicable, unprofessional act of having to divert or misuse food items supplied to their schools for the purpose of feeding students under the government free senior high school program. As an association, ladies and gentlemen, we are using this platform to disassociate and to condemn this and other related malpractices that are being reported to have hit our schools in recent times. NADBAN, in fact, is not in any position to defend, protect, or shield any member who is involved or who wishes to get involved in this shameful act. The association would therefore wish to assure the government of Ghana, management of Ghana Education Service, and the good people of our country of our resolve to remain committed to the successful implementation of the free senior high school program. The association wishes to indicate in clear and unambiguous terms that the association is made up of principled and honest persons who will do in its power to assist in all investigations into the unfortunate development so as to bring sanity into the system.
Still watching Joy News today, I am Daniel Daz. The story is just gone by. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has expressed his heartfelt condolences, I should say, to the family, the student, and the teachers of Kumasi Academy Senior High School. The Vice President has pledged he will be visiting the school later today. Still to come in the bulletin, implementation of Ghana's Anti-Corruption Action Plan NACA has been described as challenging, as majority of agencies expected to implement the program have failed to report on progress of implementation to SHRAJ. Later in this bulletin, we'll give you the details of this one. Thanks for staying with us. An implementation of Ghana's Anti-Corruption Action Plan, the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan, NACA, has been described as challenging, as majority of agencies expected to implement the program have failed to report progress of implementation to SHRAJ. Some of these agencies have also failed to plan and budget for implementation of the plan, take measures to prevent corruption, control abuse of office, and others. This is according to a progress report on the implementation of the plan for the 2016 calendar year. NACA was adopted by Parliament in July 2014 to provide a strategic approach towards tackling corruption. 3 years on, the implementation agency, SHRAJ, is struggling to get all partners handed the plan to cooperate. Presenting the progress report for 2016, Director of Anti-Corruption at SHRAJ, Charles Ayamdo, said only 4 out of the 216 MMDAs reported back to SHRAJ on implementation of the plan. He, however, maintained some gains have been made, as the report on the set targets is an improvement of the previous year. He also thinks the establishment of the Office of Special Prosecutor doesn't satisfy the National Prosecution Authority that was envisaged in the National Anti-Corruption Action Plan. He made this known in an interview with Joy News' Joseph Akable.
It's for 10 years, and we evaluated after the 5th year. So in the 5th year, we will evaluate and find out what has gone well, what has gone wrong, and then we take it from there and continue till the 10th year. But I believe that if Ghanaians really want to deal with corruption, and I don't doubt the Ghanaians want it, from the way that the discussions of this week have gone on, that everybody wants corruption eradicated in the country, and their participation is paramount. So I believe that everybody will come on board.
Do you think the starting point should be perhaps the ministries, departments, agencies, MMDAs, so should find a way of making it a requirement such that you need to be implementing that plan?
No, there is already instruction and requirements to public sector institutions to implement the NACA, to budget for it, implement and report. And it's also featured in the budget that they will implement it. If you see the 2017 budget and the 2018 budget, NACA is featured. And so it is mandatory for all public sector institutions to implement it.
But you work with SHRAJ, I mean, the private sector, you said not even a single one supplied their reports. How do we get around that one as well?
No, they did a few public education programs, and they also educated their people on the customer service charter. And so when you see the report, they have done something, but it is the increase, the movement, but it's not negative, it's not positive. And they are determined to continue. And we have been in discussions with especially the executive secretary or director. And
you had some concerns about the special prosecutor. I get the impression that it's the case that it doesn't capture what was envisaged in the NACA itself. What exactly is the problem?
I had concerns. I only mentioned that in the NACA, it is a requirement. What had been recommended to be done is to establish a national prosecution authority. But an office of special prosecutor has been established. The two are different. That's just the point I made.
How different are they?
One is an office, one is an authority. The authority is supposed to be dealing with both corruption and crime. The Office of Special Prosecutor from the Act is supposed to be dealing with corruption, and not even every aspect of corruption, but some corruption.
So what do you think?
That is still short of the standard of the National Prosecution Authority that we want to establish.
But was this at any point pointed out to the various agencies that worked on the bill? Because at this stage, all that is left is the assent from the presidency, and we don't even know whether that has been done.
Oh, you know, prior to its enactment, there were roundtable discussions, and we always made known to them what the NACA requires.
But that wasn't.
That was Joy News' Joseph Akable speaking with Mr. Ayamdo, the Director of Anti-Corruption at SHRAJ. Expect more in later bulletins. It's now time for business. Stay tuned in.